Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to a new episode of Exploring the Garden. This episode has the best timing ever because we are getting Hugo from Pulse. Pulse is super hot right now on the SocialFi ecosystem. They are empowering creators to reward their audience. This is thanks to creator tokens. We will talk later about it in the episode. Great to mention that this is not the first project from Hugo. Actually, he has been on the Web3 space for a long time. But what better than him to talk about all of this? Hugo, do you want to give a quick intro?
Yeah, thank you, Juanpi, for having me here. So I'm Hugo. I'm French. I have an engineer background. I've been in crypto for the past 8 years. So right now I'm building Pools, which is a company that builds a platform where any creator on chain can use to build their own token, their own fungible token. Before that, I started and I used to run the biggest crypto exchange in France that I sold to Voyager 4 years ago. And after that, I did the DeFi protocol on Tezos. So I've been active in Web3 since 2016, 2017, and yeah, super happy to be here.
Okay, that's awesome because you just gave me a lot of things to talk before pool. That's something really interesting. For those who know, Hugo and me are literally knowing each other in real life in this episode, but you told me that you have an engineer background. Okay, that's cool because not so many people, not so many founders have a technical background here on crypto, and that's kind of curious actually because crypto is super technical, but doesn't matter. But you told me you were working in one of the biggest exchanges in France. You were the founder of it, or you were
Yeah,
working there?
co-founder. Yeah.
Co-founder.
So
Can you tell me about that? Which was the name of
it
the
was called
exchange?
LGO, LGO short for Legolas.
LGO. Okay, it's still
And so
running.
it's not. No. We sold it to Voyager,
Okay.
which unfortunately went bankrupt after the Terra, Luna, Three Arrows, FTX situation. But I was one of the big competitors from Coinbase in the US. No, the story was like I was a mathematician in France. I went to the US to do math in New York at Columbia University, and 2 weeks in, I was a bit bored and I wanted to be more active in crypto. So I started I started a few projects, and one of them was to build a crypto exchange for institutions. Because at the time in 2017, it was before the big ICO boom. Like you were starting to see companies like Gemini or Coinbase having an institutional offer. So you were seeing that in the US, and there was nothing in France or in Europe that was similar. So we're like, okay, with my business partner, we're like, let's apply this model. Let's import it to France and Europe in general, like having a B2B style of exchange with more security, more transparency, that kind of stuff. So we started working on that project, and in February 2018, we decided to raise money through an ICO. So we did an initial coin offering 1st of February 2018, which is to date the biggest ICO ever done by a French company. So we raised $30 million in 10 hours. So that was like a
Yeah, it's
cool
when ICOs were like a hot topic, were trending.
yeah. ICOs were a hot topic. So like, and there was a lot, like obviously, like as in crypto, there's always like good things and bad things. Like there's for one good project, there's a scam project. So like we were very careful to do something that was high quality. So I think the market responded well to that. So we did the ICO, we raised money, we built the business for 2.5, 3 years. We onboarded all the big institutions that were trading in crypto, like all the big banks, the big funds, the crypto miners, like all that. And so in France and actually in Europe, we were the platform that had the biggest volume, not available to retail, only institutions, only B2B. And during COVID, I remember we were talking with Voyager, which was at the time like a pretty small company, but that was like super promising, great product, super focused on retail and in the US, and they wanted to expand to Europe and the B2B market. So we decided to sell to Voyager, and that was a great decision. And unfortunately, like the market crash and Three Arrows created this situation where Voyager went bankrupt one day to the other. So it's a good learning as a founder as well. It's good stories. But
At
yeah,
least you had great timing on that.
no, I mean, yeah, it was for sure great timing, but it was good learning. As a founder,
Yeah.
it's a good experience.
And how is the crypto like community there on France? Because I mean, in Latam already is like big. In Argentina, it's even bigger. Like we use crypto. I wouldn't say like all the time, but people from my age, people I don't know that are struggling with economic problems, for example, they use crypto, of course, as a saving tool or even as a day-to-day payment. But of course, that this doesn't happen on Europe and on US as frequently as here. So how is the landscape there?
Yeah, I mean, it's very. I mean, in Argentina, I'm curious actually. In Argentina, do you use crypto like to pay for stuff, or is it more like you get paid and then you store it in Bitcoin or something like that?
I don't have my physical wallet here, but here in Argentina we have a lot of fintech that releases crypto card. So you can literally fund them with crypto, like in most of the chains out there. And at the time of payment, they are converted into pesos. So
That's amazing.
they in the yeah,
So you get paid
no, in
you
the
make money
back.
in crypto, like you farm, you yield farm or whatever, and then after that you use that's really cool.
Yeah, for
Um,
example, in my jobs, I'm getting paid on crypto, so I put that on mostly on Polygon. So I transfer it to this app that is also a little exchange, so I can make swaps there. I can even get I think 3% API on USDT. I can do a bunch of things there, and then at time of payment, I cross it and it's converted. For example, if I hold Bitcoin, it's converted in USDT, and that USDT is converted into pesos. A really good exchange, I would say, actually, because here in Argentina we have a P2Ps. That was before this fintech appeared. That was the only way of getting not only dollars but also crypto. Like you go to someone and say, "Hey, I have this amount of pesos. That is our local currency. I want USDT." So they take it, they get a small fee, and they transfer you the crypto. Now everyone with a credit card, debit card, with a bank account can access crypto thanks to them. Of course,
Super cool.
you have exchanges like Binance and everything else, but these are like more friendly for the average user.
Oh, that's cool. You know, like, I mean, I'm based in New York, so it's, I'm French based in New York. So I think, for you, you have really like the core use case of crypto as a currency that is like not linked to an economy, rather that is linked to a global, non-central economy. I think in the US, it's mostly around um, financial use cases, making money or funding projects. Like it's much more like this. And in France and in Europe in general, I think it's more focused on Web3 and blockchain, like more so like the how to use blockchain as a computer, as a shared computer. So you have a lot of really good projects in DeFi, for instance, that come from France. A lot of great talent in the DeFi world, like that innovate, that do new smart contracts, new protocols, especially in the regulated DeFi world, because France in Europe is very regulated. So there's a lot of innovation there. We have some of the best smart contract engineers that work for a lot of different protocols across the board. So like great talent pool there. Unfortunately, like the thing I was listening to an interview from Eric Schmidt, who's the former CEO of Google, and I think I kind of agree with what he's saying. It's like like in France, in Europe in general, the focus is on regulating new technologies versus financing new technologies. And so I think you see that with
Oh,
crypto, like France and Europe, they were the first to regulate crypto companies, exchanges, and that kind of stuff. But the reality is that very few investors and VC funds actually fund crypto projects. Even today, even today in France, it's very difficult to if you have a French startup that does crypto, to get funding from a venture capital fund. It's very difficult for a ton of reasons.
yeah,
So
that's
that's a
why most
problem.
of the French talent go to other companies outside, right?
Fortunately, that's the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's yeah, that's the reality.
I know Lemiskate from Aave. He's a great guy. He's also super smart. He's from French, and I remember super out of context, but I remember there was a picture from him with the French government, if I'm not wrong, because they were making some moves with the legal stuff with crypto, of course, on France. Was that real? I mean, like, did something happen? Like, how is the
Yeah,
regulation nowadays, like today with crypto in France?
there is a regulation. I mean, actually, like with my first company, we helped do it. So there is a full set of regulation. So if you want to be like a
Okay.
regulated crypto entity in France, like there's a playbook, right? Which doesn't exist in the US. I mean, there's no specific crypto regulation in the US, for instance. So in France, it exists. But there's dual regulation. There's the country regulation and the Europe regulation. So there's a set of regulation at the European level that is coming. It's called MiCA. But again, the reality is, it's great to have this set of regulation, but if there's no money to fund the business, it's very difficult, and the market is like fragmented and all that. So really, the great talent, great ideas, but not a lot of money to create projects. That's a reality, and the money right now is invested through Asia and through the US.
Yeah, I see. But yeah, I mean that's how things work. US has a lot of power, but I'm super curious. Like, of course, you are an engineer. For what I see, you have a great background. You started like your own companies there on France, but now you are on Pools. That is a consumer crypto app. We can say like you are providing kind of services for the SocialFi ecosystem and working with content creators and builders all day. So I'm super curious how you ended up there. Like how was that transition? Why exactly?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, when I sold the first company, like I started working on this other DeFi company like right after, because I wanted to work with my team, so I took my, with my core team, we created this new project, and so we had a little bit of time to kind of think about what was next. And at the time, it was early 2021. NFTs were starting to increase, and I always wanted to work with artists. Like it was something that I wanted to do. Artists, creators. I wanted to build my company in this space, and so that's what I wanted to do. And what I know well is the blockchain and the crypto ecosystem. So I was like, okay, how can I merge both? And again, NFTs were booming, and you had a lot of people that were interested into NFTs, and so I kind of like started to talk to more and more artists that were doing NFTs, like kind of understanding like what they were trying to do. And you remember BitClout, this protocol that started like 3 years ago?
Remember the name? Don't remember what
Yeah.
they did.
So BitClout was a protocol that allowed people to buy tokens that were linked to a Twitter profile. So you could buy like Elon Musk coin, or you could
Okay.
buy Kanye West coin, or whatever. Well, they didn't do well. Like the idea was that you could bet and trade on the influence of someone, but they got a lot of lawsuits. They got a lot of, it was
Kind
just
of
not
frantic right now.
kind of frantic, yeah. But like they were not asking for the permission of people. I mean, just like a lot of things that were done wrong, but the idea at core was super interesting. So I was like, okay, that's an opportunity. Let's do it in a way that is better. And so I started like talking to investors and just like getting a team around this idea. And so quickly we raised money, and we started the company 3 years ago exactly, like May 1st, 2021. I think in June we raised first round, and we launched our first token with pools in December. So like it went very fast. I can tell you more about the journey, but went very fast, and with at the core this idea of like building Web3 technology that allow creators to monetize their influence basically.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. If you don't know, I work on Talent Protocol right now, and at the beginning we are doing kind of something similar. We had like the opportunity to people to launch their own TAL tokens, so people can buy those tokens mostly to, instead of like monetizing their knowledge, their content, they were a way to invest in people, like kind of an endorsement for young talent. So it was kind of interesting. Of course, Pulse is like more focused on the content creation side. Yeah, super interesting. So that's why I like the concept of Pool. I actually been following Pool since the beginning. Never used it that much, honestly, but really like the whole concept that is around. And a question that I have is like, okay, you started like you could launch your token as a creator, but right now we have tippings, like, and that's I think the huge things about pool, and that's why a lot of comments and people were talking about pool on social media nowadays. How did you came with that transition? Like, okay, letting people create their own tokens, they have their own tokens, and now we have an overall token that is the native token of tipping. How was that transition?
So it's not really a transition. It's just like continuity of the vision. The ambition for us is to build the best platform for anybody that has an on-chain community to create a token, to distribute it to the right people, and to integrate it to their economy in general. So the best platform is the easiest to use with the most features, like and for anybody that has like it can be like an NFT musician, it can be an NFT artist, it can be someone that has a big following on Lens, doesn't matter. just someone that has an on-chain community, like having those tools that make it super easy to create a token, distribute it, integrate it, and down the road monetize it. Minting is easy, like, and that's been like the core of the products in the beginning. It's very easy as a creator. You come, you connect your wallet, you mint a token. This token is, kind of like your own on-chain reward system. And distribution. So distribution is interesting because the first and kind of like core way we distribute tokens is based on engagement. So I have a token called the Hugo token. If you follow me on Lens, you get some Hugo tokens airdropped every week. You don't have to do anything. It's just like, just for following me and liking my content, you have that. And also if I did, music NFTs or NFTs in general, and you collect that, you have the same kind of idea. And so the past few months, so that's interesting because like that's, you distribute tokens to people that are really engaged in the community. And so that's like a good foundation to create a token economy. Something interesting that happened in the past few months, especially with DEGEN on Farcaster, is, the tipping. So DEGEN, which is a community currency that was started on Farcaster, people have an allowance. Every day they can tip DEGEN tokens to things that they like on Farcaster just by commenting. So if I like a post that you make, boom, I comment 20 DEGEN and you get 20 DEGEN in your wallet. The reason why that's interesting in particular is that it lets the community decide who should be in the community, right? It's not just the creator. It's also all the token holders and all the participants in the community that decide all together, okay, cool. I think you deserve to be a part of that community, so I'm going to tip you some tokens. So it really, like, in terms of distribution, it makes it more fair. It makes it super scalable. It makes it super viral as well. And like that, I think that's why DEGEN went from 0 to I think at the peak it was $2.5 billion of valuation. It's because of that, that engagement around the community. So, seeing that, I was like, okay, that's interesting to apply in the product, not just our token, but any token. Like you're an artist, it kind of makes sense to say that you want your biggest supporter to be able to give tokens to whoever they think, deserves those tokens, because it makes the community grow, it makes the community live. So this functionality of tipping is just interesting in terms of community growth. And so that's why we implemented it. So we built the backend to do that. If you do a token on pools, you can enable people to tip your token on both Lens and Farcaster. They just have to comment on the post. They can tip people. So that's the functionality we've put together. I think we have more than 100 tokens now that have this functionality enabled. So, it's great. We passed the bar of 1,000 tips made and 100,000 tokens tipped. And so after 1 week of going live with that feature. So
yeah,
so really,
I saw that 100 unique tippers, 1,000 tips, and 100,000 token tips.
Yeah, and we're super happy because the feature is a bit wonky, to be honest. Like it works, but it's not super. The UX is not the best, and we're working on that. But it shows the interest, I think, for people to have this mechanism. And so, we were like, okay, this feature is live. How can we demonstrate it? And we have a token, the 00 token. It's a token of pools. It's listed on Coinbase. Every one of our creators that creates a token on pools, they have pools tokens. So we're like, okay, it's a currency for creators. It's a currency for creativity. How can we display the token? How can we engage it and integrate it into the Lens and Farcaster ecosystem? And so we were like, okay, let's allow people that are creative, that want to reward creativity. Let's allow them to tip 00 to other people, right? So we did this big program for our birthday, which was a week ago, where we enabled our 500 artists, the 500 top holders on Bonsai, and some other people to tip up to 100 00 tokens a day on both Lens and Farcaster. And so what we've seen for the past week is just like people, like they see like a piece of art that they like, they think it's creative, boom, they're going to tip like 20 00 tokens, or they see something that is funny, they're going to tip 50 00 tokens. So it's our currency, like it's us demonstrating this feature with our currency and also pushing, I think, the vision that we have for this community.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I'm seeing a lot of my posts on Lens being tipped with OO. It's kind of funny because at the beginning I didn't know what was it, and then I read the comment about the birthday and all that, read the blog post, and then I completely understand. Can we say that Pulse was a copy of DEGEN?
No, it's not a copy of DEGEN. We have a different product, different community, different vision. So like it's really different from that perspective. What we copied is the way that DEGEN gets distributed. So it's the tipping mechanism. That's a copy. Like that's for sure. We just copied
No, yeah, for
and
sure.
integrated.
Well, so you mentioned that you kind of like analyze the Lens protocol and the Farcaster ecosystem to see what's going on. Do you have like not an opinion, but maybe I want to know like your general concept of the landscape we have on social finance. Like Farcaster is hitting hard, and they have been here for maybe less than what Lens Protocol has been building. Lens Protocol kind of like fell a bit down. Now they are taking over with Bonsai launch. So, which is your opinion? I mean, you are building on both platforms, so on both protocols. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, us, like we try to stay neutral. I mean, we try to support. At the end of the day, we're a tool for creators, right? So wherever creators go, we follow. But I think my personal opinion is that SocialFi, both Lens and Farcaster are not competitors together. Lens and Farcasters are competitors against Web2 models of social media, and I think
Yeah.
that's the end game. It's like, and just looking at Lens and Farcaster, I think at the end of in a couple of weeks, months, years, I don't know how that's going to be. Like it makes sense that both become interoperable. That the social graphs become interoperable and that both protocols can be merged, because that's the best outcome possible for users. And so I think, like as an industry, SocialFi, like what we're trying to do is get people to, own their social graph, to own the relationship with their audience, own the relationship with their followers, and kind of monetize that. And I think you see that on both Farcaster and Lens. You see people that make $0 on traditional social media. Now they make like hundreds of dollars per month, which is, not enough to
That's
pay
crazy.
your bills and all, but like it's already like it's 0 to 1. You know what I mean? It's like you don't make money, you make money. So it's a start, it grows. So I think that's where I see it being super interesting. Now, I think Lens and Farcaster have different core communities, which is why the content is a little
Yeah.
bit different. And
Lens
and
are
and
more creators and Farcaster are more builders, at least in my
yeah, I
opinion.
agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. It's different. So it's different content. Me
Yeah.
personally, as a user, I go to Lens for some things and I go to Farcaster for other things. But from a product perspective, like we try to build neutral, because I think that both protocols are working to kind of like decentralize those relationship between a creator and their community, and so we wanna facilitate that.
Yeah, for sure. Something that I'm seeing, I don't think it's kind of a problem, but at the end of the day, it's kind of inevitable. For example, DEGEN had a lot of hype at the beginning, like a lot of people making crazy and stupid amount of money on the first tips, on the first airdrops. Of course, the second airdrop was a bit less, and the third airdrop was even less. And some people were actually like frustrated about that. And kind of same with pools. The other day when I was looking at the charts, like the chart, of course, is going down because people, when they receive pools, of course, some people hold it, but majority of people like change it, swap it for actual money. Which is the approach on that? I mean, like the goal, or is something that you guys want to avoid, or it's something that you already know it's going to happen and don't really care because it has other utilities?
I mean, when it comes to our token, I mean, it depends on each token, So just as a caveat, some of the tokens made on pools, for instance, they have no price, no transferability, no speculation, and that's
No,
totally
talking
fine.
about like zero
Yeah, for
zero.
0 0, it's different. Us, we did okay. Like we said, okay, we're gonna list it, we're gonna have a price, So I mean, there's obviously we want the price to go up, and it's a very important part of everything that we do, from marketing to integration to partnership. Like like we always want to put the 0 0 token forward. So it's one way to do that is to what we do is to like enable tipping, get more and more people, more news, more things, are just working hard to get the 0 0 token distributed and marketed, and show the value of the token as much as we can. The second thing is just working on the underlying, like what does 0 0 token get you? Which is I think the most important question in the long term, because it's the one that we can control as builders. Like I cannot control people buying and selling the token based on the news, but I can control as the builder of pools, like how the value accrues to the token, and how to like make sure that there's more and more underlying value for the token. So what we're focused as a team, there's a marketing element, of course, but most importantly is on growing pools as a platform, pools as a protocol almost. Like how do we make sure that there's more and more creators that use the platform and that use it more and more, and that we have features that enable people to monetize their own tokens. Because the business model of the 0 token is that all the money that is made on pools goes to the treasury of 0 token holders. So if pools does very well, it's a lot of money in the treasury for 0. So that's, like, that's kind of like the two approach that we have, is like one which is very rational, which is, okay, let's build the best product, the best platform possible, because the fees generated by this platform are going to go to 0, 100% of them. And the second approach is like, kind of like tactical and market driven, is like, okay, how can we take advantage of momentum? How can we be smart about marketing? How can we be smart about the announcements that we make? Because, whether we like it or not, it matters in crypto. So you need to like kind of like signal it the best way possible.
Okay. And how are you monetizing the part of creator tokens? Like, for example, I launch a token. Is there a fee on that? I'm not too concerned about that.
Right now, there's no fee because we sponsor the fees, but and the platform is not open yet to anyone. There's a wait list, but once we open the platform, there's going to be a super small fee. Kind of like think like when you mint your Lens profile, you pay a fee. Like it's the same idea.
No, makes sense. Actually, it's the easiest way to monetize that. I kind of like the creators tokens. I'm seeing a lot of creators like launching their own tokens now. But what I'm seeing is that now that 0 is up and all this program of your 100 daily allowance, everyone is tipping with that. They are not tipping with their own creators tokens anymore.
Actually, it depends. Depends. It's been growing.
It depends.
Yeah. The share of we have this dashboard that I look every day. 10 days ago, it was 99% of tips in 0. Now it's more like 85, 90. So by us showing the way, it actually empowers people to do the same with their own token. So it's
okay, nice. I was going to ask what the team thought about that, but that's great. Nice.
Yeah.
About collects, like you had collects on the past, you had tippings as an open action on Hey, but it's not there anymore. I think it was kind of broken. I know they are trying to fix that, but a lot of people comparing collects with tippings. And I don't think it's a fair comparison right now because they are different, intended for different things. What's your opinion on that, on collects versus tipping?
I think you need both. Yes, it's the same in the sense that you give some, tokens to content that you like. What I like about tipping is like it's like you tip whatever you want, like the pay as you want model is very interesting because it gives people like the opportunity to, they can put 1 token, 10 token, 1,000 tokens, it doesn't matter. Like it's a very different psychological action than collecting something and buying at a fixed price, So I think that's the main difference. And that plays into like user behavior. So I think both are necessary. I think the big challenge for both collect and tipping actually is to find a UX that is universal for everyone, because like everybody wants to create a post that is collectible with their own token and everybody wants to tip with their own token. But a Lens client can only do, so much. And if all the comments are about tipping, it becomes very noisy very fast. So I think the next challenge from a UI perspective is like, how do you facilitate that for, infinite amount of tokens?
Did you think about creating your own client for Farcaster and Lens, or
no?
Not an idea.
We stay in our lane. We're focused on the product. Our thing is like social token, creator token distribution. Distribution integration platform. So we're really like trying to be specialized there and leverage the open source aspect of everything that we do, like the integrations, the composability. It's really not in the plans to build something else.
No, great. Also, about tipping versus collect, I think, tipping is necessary because, when you're collecting, technically you're spamming your wallet, and maybe you don't want that content to be on your wallet, but you want to reward that creator in some way because of their hard work or the thing that they did. And actually, it's more simple to comment with a post wherever you are, without Wi-Fi, with mobile data in your phone, in your computer, than having to actually use an open action and maybe using your wallet, signing, kind of not that UX friendly.
One thing that is very important as well in the difference is like the way tipping is done with us is like you tip with an allowance, you don't tip with your wallet. So I don't tip people with my tokens. I tip people with an allowance that I receive. So you tip with people like with tokens that are that you don't own, and if you don't use them, it just resets. Like you if you don't use them, they're not distributed. So I think it's way easier to tip than to collect, because it's money that is not going to get to you either way. So you might as well spend as much as possible.
Okay, nice. Question that I think I didn't answer you. Sorry, question that I didn't give to you is that how you ended up on like the SocialFi. Like, how did you discover this niche into crypto?
I mean, like doing social tokens, like it's always been interested about any kind of social engagement on chain. So at first, we were big into integrating with NFTs when we started 3 years ago. I mean, obviously, always been aware and close to Lens and Farcaster. I think the one decision that we've made a year and a half ago is to not have a front end. Like we're a creator tool. Like we're never going to ask a creator to bring their audience into a pool's UI platform or whatever. So without integration with SocialFi platforms, like the token is just, you can only see it in your MetaMask, right? You see that you have like 1,000 Hugo token in your MetaMask, but that doesn't tell you a lot. On Lens, you can do much more. If you have 100 Hugo token, you're going to be able to see some posts that are only available to you, or you're going to like it gives a visual interface of what a social token is. So I think the marriage between like a SocialFi platform, a SocialFi protocol, and social tokens is the best one, because you have the interface and you have the graph that comes with the tokens that can be married together. So long story short, yeah, like that's something that we've always been watching, and we try to integrate always and more and more.
Awesome. Of course, like Pulse is growing a lot. It's getting a lot of tractions, a lot of attentions. Your products are going well. Which are the short-term plans for Pulse? And also the long term, but super curious on the short term.
Yeah, so short term is we have a bit less than 600 creators on the platform. So I want to get to 1,000 by July, just to hit that milestone. So for us, it's increasing growth, increasing the rate of growth. So we want to have like a kind of like an exponential curve, increasing the usage of the platform. So making sure that the people that are onboarded on Pools, they use the platform more and more, that they have more and more features. So really focusing on building a good product for our clients, for our users, rather. From there, the goal is going to be to open the platform to anyone. Once we think that we have the right market fit and the right feature set, like we're going to open it so that anybody can create a token and integrate it to the platforms that they allow. And once that's done, the focus is going to be on monetization, and how can we help people to make money with their token through liquidity, but also through ways that are not speculative. So that's the roadmap, very product driven.
Okay, and I really like the part about like helping creators like monetize. I think that's super important, and it's kind of the goal of this SocialFi thing going on. And I know that you're supporting a lot of creators like Jesse, Lozy. Cross fingers that me if this podcast series skyrockets on Lens. Actually, the first episode went really, really well. But yeah, like how is like your relationship with these creators? Like how you onboard them into Pools?
I mean, I'm always super grateful when someone, uses our technology and our product. It's there's nothing better as a founder that to see that your product is being used, and also like me, like going back to the DNA of Pools, like we really wanted to work with artists and creators. So it's very nice to interact with the amazing creators that build on Pools. So it's just a good personal experience. We try to be very close to the creators on the platform. When I say very close, is that we try to give as much transparency on what we're building. We try to gather as much feedback. We have this user interview process that we have where like someone from our team is going to ask a lot of questions to many creators several times a week, just to make sure that we really understand who's using the platform, what they're using it, what can we do to make it better. And lately, like with 0.0, it's been great to involve creators not only as users of our product, but members of the 0.0 community, by distributing tokens to creators, by enabling them to tip to whoever they want. So, one thing I said, we had a Twitter space for our birthdays, like, Pools belongs to creators as well as 0.0. Like that's really the goal. Like today it's a platform that is like centralized, but in the long term, I want it to be decentralized and owned by the users. So, see creators as owners of the platform.
Yeah, I saw there's a 0.0 DAO.
Yeah, there's
right?
a DAO. Yeah, totally. So that's the vision, like to and that's how we kind of interface with creators. We see them as like being the ones that ultimately own the platform and own the community. So we want to build the best products for them.
No, for sure, and I'm sure they will have like some valuable feedback for for you guys to improve. At the end of the day, they are using the product. And which is the creator that is doing the most out of pools in terms of engagement and using the product and your tools?
It's difficult to say because like everybody's like involved in different ways, and every token is different.
Change the question, not the best, just the first example you can think
You know,
of a
like
great use cases.
yeah, I think about specifically in on Lens. I think about JC, the fries token. I think about Ala with the fish token. I think about Lozi, many others, of course, and that's why I don't want to start naming because I'm gonna
No,
forget
no.
people like that. Many people like are using the token, but I think like JC and Carla have been very, in particular, have been very good advocates for their own token community and are using their token everywhere. So, if I have to give a shout out, that's to both of them.
Okay, how are they using it? Do you know? Because I'm on that communities. Actually, I engage with that token, but you know how Web3 is. You can't be everywhere every time. So of course, I'm missing some things.
Yeah, I mean, it goes from everything from, starting with rewarding the community. So, their followers being rewarded with tokens, people that engage with the content being rewarded. There's some giveaways, some contests. It's just a great, community animation tool. And I cannot say too much because it's not live yet, but there's great plans as well coming. Like there's great things
Okay.
in the book. So that's exciting.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Actually, something really cool that is that these social tokens let us build also our own social graph. Social graph, it's in Talent Protocol, we are building this reputation system, and we think reputation, on-chain reputation, it's a valuable thing everyone should have and also should own. And building this social graph around creator tokens, builder tokens, it's also building our reputation. Like which persons are we engaging with, the endorsement we have. Imagine like, I don't know, you or Stani or Vitalik are engaging with my tokens. That would be actually super cool and a sign of credibility. So I think it's something great that Pool is using that.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And it goes both ways because you can see who engages in your community, like who are the people, the holders in your community, but you can also see like who's your number one supporter, right? So you can see if you have if you have the biggest balance of 1P token, that means that you're the the biggest supporter, like your biggest supporter. So that's the
I'm actually my biggest supporter. At least on Pool says that. I think my ENS is first one on the
oh yeah, right.
on the tokens holdings.
Now
Makes
that's because
sense.
you have the creator allocation. That's why, because you have like
Yeah.
over 20% of supply. But
I
you
mean,
gotta
if you are
look
not your
at numbers.
biggest supporter,
Yeah, who
you
is?
are doing something wrong.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting, kind of great. And yeah, of course, the social graph kind of thing, it's super interesting for sure. But yeah, we are getting next to the 45 minutes markdown. So you already told me for the short term of pools. You already kind of told me about the long terms of pools. The only thing I can ask is like, where do you see pool and also lens on the next 5 years? And it's a kind of hard question. 5 years on crypto is like 20 years in real life. But what do you have in mind?
I'll start with Lens because I mean, for me, it's easier because I'm a third party observer. But I would love to see Lens compete with Twitter and with Web2 protocols, both in terms of like in growth, having new users, having like new features that are native to like new features that are just native to Web3 social and feature parity in terms of UX, stuff like that. So having less Lens as easy to use as Twitter, but with like features that are only uniquely enabled by the blockchain. I think that when we have that, it's a no-brainer for people to kind of move away from Twitter to something else. And it can happen very fast. So that's what I wish to see for Lens, for Farcaster, for the ecosystem as a whole, is like bigger adoption and more and more people using the tools. For pools, there's a couple of things like one, like obviously we want to grow and help as many creators as possible and kind of like hit the 1,000 creator mark, hit the 10,000 creator mark, the 100,000, the million. Like that's something that we want to do. One thing that I would like to, from a product perspective, again, like Pools today is a product, like it's a platform, right? It's centralized, that's fine. I would love to make Pools a protocol, an open protocol, something that anybody can use, that lives on the blockchain, that is not administered by a central entity, and just make it a common good. That's something that I would like to build because I think it's important, for growth and for just like general adoption. And for 0 token, I don't know if it's going to be in the next 5 years, maybe like earlier, but the goal I have in mind is to make it a $1 billion market cap token. So, today we're at 100 million, so it's just 10x, but that's the we're laser focused on right now.
We are early.
We're early, very early.
We are early. Nice, awesome. I mean, hope you make it, guys. It's of course ambitious, but everyone should be ambitious on this world. So yeah, we'll be supporting from this side every day. Nice. I really like what you guys are doing.
Thank you, man.
Awesome. Something else you want to say before ending to the community, whatever you want?
Yeah, I mean, just one maybe like one thing I'll say, we build in the open, so like we love to have feedback, we love to have, like, even if it's a bit confrontational, like any idea that you have that could enable us to do our job better, have a better product, any suggestion that we can do to help enhance this ecosystem, ping me, DM me, post, tag me, whatever. We like to listen to the market and to listen to just what people say. Sometimes we'll adopt it, sometimes we'll challenge it, but like very open to feedback, very open to discussion. So anything that you would like pools to do as a creator or just as a user, like feel free to send it our way, and we'll try to integrate that.
That's awesome, man. I mean, Web3 is about building in public, so super agree on that mentality.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thanks, Hugo, also for being here and sharing all information about pools and also your opinion on the SocialFi ecosystem. Guys, see you in the next one.
Thank you, Ranti. Bye-bye.